Tracy, let's now I want to just, you've been a graduate recruiter, in big banks locally and internationally. So you'll have seen that full life cycle from the recruiter's perspective, right? You'll have seen the CV arrive in a pile of 100 or more. You'll have helped managers whittle down to maybe 10, 15, then you'll have seen those people rock up on their first day, and I know at the organizations that you worked, and because you were in those roles, you had a very structured process and you helped them go through it and you put a lot of things into place to support them. But what stands out for you in the people themselves and the things they did or didn't do that had the greatest impact on their career success? So you've seen them all the way through the CV stage, the interview, getting that offer letter. Yes, fat salary, people are excited, that's fantastic, but there's so much more to it, and they realize that sooner or later. And then now, often people I know that have stayed in touch with you 10, 15, 20 years later, some people are CFOs of big banks, some people are investment bankers doing $100 million deals, and you hired those people, right? They are so thankful. I've seen them. They are so thankful to you for the career coaching and the advice that you gave them. But my question to you now is, what did people do themselves that made them stand out? I know you've played a big role in many people's careers, and you're fantastic. We know that. But what can people do themselves to have the success that you've seen other people achieve in that life cycle of entering into the workplace?
So if I look back on all the years of the sort of campus visits I did, interacting with students on campus at whether it's career fairs or presentations, going to recruit bursary students or interns or graduates, there's always a huge volume. So there's a bunch of people. In my case, it was investment banking. There were a bunch of people from AXI and finance and engineering, etc., all wanting to become bankers. So we're talking about a huge volume here. And it's not like when somebody's more experienced, there's a lot of info on the CV to go with. When you're recruiting a student, you're actually going basically on what they studied, where they studied, what their marks are, and if they have some work experience. So you're getting, I remember screening 3,600 CVs one year. And what you've got to think is, if you were that recruiter going through this pile of CVs, what would you be looking for? What would stand out? There is, as I say, only a certain amount that a CV can hold. So how else can you stand out? You have to be noticed. You have to find a way to be noticed. And I'm telling you, year after year, there have been certain students who've engaged with me beyond just submit their CV. Whether or not it's arrive at the office with your CV at reception, I'm not encouraging that at all, but these are some of the amazing stories that I'll write about in my book. But the other thing is, when you send the email, instead of just saying, I've applied, you want to say, I've applied, and you show you've done some research about the company, you've thought about a certain team, and you were wondering if there was any chance you could do some job shadowing, and not just emailing the recruiter, emailing people. Go and use LinkedIn. Go and research, go onto their website and go see some people within the organization, and go and pop them in mail and say, I've applied to the grad program and I just want to increase my chances. What do you think I should do? Please give me some advice. People love to help, but they're not going to stop and say, okay, let me go and tell the students that they should be doing this, right? You need to drive it, and I'm giving you guys permission. People, I don't think it's that you don't want to. I think it's that and I don't think it's that you don't think of it. I think it's that we almost feel like we're being irritation or wonder, can I do that? And I'm saying you must do it. Stand out. There were times that I remember students, actually a few over the years. And interestingly, this was always at UCT, come to think of it. and I've recruited all the campuses, but it was quite common at UCT that one of the students would know that I was coming on campus, and they would either be there to greet me beforehand or come and wait to say hi afterwards, just to make sure that I had a face. And they can, it's still, I'm remembering now when I was first at Rand Merchant Bank, in the first sort of year of us having a grad program, all these like MDs now, I remember some of them actually standing in board shorts outside of the presentation room and saying, can I carry your bag to the car? I mean, I didn't need help carrying the bag, but I remember those kids because they were the ones I was chatting to. So I really, really believe that you have to find a way to be noticed. The rest will fall into place. You've got to make sure that your CV is the one that they're actually looking out for, rather than may come across or maybe screened out by an algorithm.
Yeah. Yeah.